So you're living with a dog here in Cornelius, Oregon. It's pretty great, right? You've got those quiet neighborhood walks, but you're also just a short hop away from bigger cities. But that kind of life, well, it takes a well-trained dog to really enjoy it. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through how to find the perfect trainer to help your pup handle it all like a pro.
Because, let's be real, when your dog is happy and comfortable, your life gets a whole lot easier and more enjoyable. Good training isn't just about sit and stay, it's about building a real bond of trust so you can navigate your days together smoothly.
We've got this broken down into 4 parts. First, we'll figure out what success even looks like for a dog living here in Cornelius. Then, we'll check out the different kinds of training you can choose from. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually evaluate a trainer. And finally, we'll cover the local rules and some great spots to practice everything you've learned.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Before you even look for a trainer, we need to set some realistic goals. And because life in Cornelius is a little different, our goals should be too. Really, the big picture is a dog that fits into your lifestyle here. We're talking about a dog who can stroll down a residential street without pulling, one who doesn't lose its mind when a deer pops out of the woods, and a dog who can handle the energy of a busier town like Hillsborough without getting totally overwhelmed.
So now that we have our goals in mind, how do we get there? Well, understanding the different ways trainers teach and the formats they use is absolutely key to finding the right match for you and your dog.
You're going to hear this term a lot, positive reinforcement, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of correcting bad behavior, the focus is all on rewarding your dog for doing the right thing. It's a fantastic way to build their confidence and your bond, and honestly, it just makes for a happier, more well-adjusted dog.
You'll also see a few main types of training setups. Group classes are awesome for learning to focus around other dogs. Private sessions are amazing for zeroing in on specific issues, like maybe barking at the mail carrier. And then you have board and train programs, which are a much more intensive, immersive option.
All right, so you know the theory, but how do you actually pick a person? This next part is all about the practical stuff, what to look for and what to ask, so you can feel really good about your decision. First up, let's talk about the budget. This table gives you a general idea of what training costs in Washington County for 2025. You know, a 6-week group class is probably going to be somewhere between $150 and $290. A single one-on-one lesson, usually around $100 to $180. Just keep in mind that some trainers coming out to Cornelius from other cities might add a little extra for travel.
Now, this might look like a jumble of letters, but it's really important. Dog training isn't a regulated field, so anyone can call themselves a trainer. These certifications, though, they show that a trainer has put in the work, studied, proven humane methods, and is serious about their profession. And if you're dealing with bigger issues like serious fear or aggression, something like a CBC-SEKA is a very, very good sign.
When you finally talk to a potential trainer, you want to be ready. You should definitely ask about their methods and their credentials, but also ask them how they'd create a plan specifically for your dog. How will you both track progress? And what kind of homework will you have? This is your interview to make sure their style clicks with you.
Okay, let's take all this great training and apply it to the real world, right here in our community. Knowing the local rules and resources is a huge part of being a responsible dog owner.
I want you to remember this number, 6, as in 6 feet. Here in Washington County, your dog has to be on a leash that's no longer than 6 feet anytime you're in a public space, unless, of course, you're in a designated off-leash park. It's a simple rule, but it keeps people and pets safe. And besides the leash law, there are a few other must-dos. Making sure your dog's rabies vaccination is up to date isn't just a good idea, it's actually state law. You'll also need to get a Washington County dog license. And, you know, just being a good neighbor means being mindful of excessive barking, which can actually be a nuisance violation.
So where can you go to work on these new skills? The dog parks over in Hillsborough, like Rood Bridge and Hondo, are fantastic for practicing commands like come in a fenced area. And if you want to work on polite leash walking with lots of real-world distractions, the trails out at Hag Lake are just beautiful for that.
You know, this really says it all. It's not just one thing, it's about having a good plan, using kind and effective methods, and then practicing consistently. That's the recipe for success. It's a true partnership between you, your dog, and a good trainer. Because when you put in this work, the payoff is huge. It means calmer, more enjoyable walks through your neighborhood. It means you can actually relax when you visit a park. Most of all, it means building an even deeper, more trusting bond with your best friend.